In this video, we are going to go over a couple of examples for solving multi-step equations. The first equation we're going to take a look at is this. 4x minus x equals 20 minus 5x plus 4. Okay, with this problem, the first thing that I see that we can do is to combine some like terms. So I look at each side of the equation and see if there's any like terms. On the left side, we have a 4x and a negative x that can be combined. When we combine those, we'll take 4x minus x, which will bring us to 3x. On the right side, I have numbers, 20 and positive 4 that can be combined, but no like term with the x, so I'll just combine the numbers. 20 plus 4 will give us 24, and then we have our negative 5x. Now we want to get all of the variables on one side and all of the constant terms or the numbers on the other side, and we can do this by adding 5x to both sides. When I do this, I can make that 0 pair with this negative 5x on the right side, and they would 0 out, and we would have 24 left on the right side. On the left side, we can combine 3x plus 5x to give us 8x. Now, since the goal of solving equations is to get that variable all by itself so we can see what it equals, our next step would be to divide 8x and 24 by 8. This will, when I divide 8x by 8, I'll be left with x, and that gets that variable all by itself. And when I divide 24 by 8, I get 3. So that's our solution. The next thing, the last step would be to check just to make sure we got the right answer. So let's see, I'm gonna do that right over here. Let's do our check. Oops. Right up here. So what we want to do is plug in our solution back into the original equation. So we have 4, and instead of x, I'm going to plug in the 3 as our solution here. And then minus 3, because I have another x. So any place we see x, we're going to substitute in that 3. So we'll have 20 minus 5, and then we'll plug in that 3, and then plus 4. Oops, we're out of space a little bit. All right. So let's just simplify both sides, and if we get to the same number on both sides, then we know our solution is in fact correct. So on the left side, I'm going to follow order of operations. 4 times 3 is 12. And then on the right side, I will also follow order of operations, so I'll do the multiplying first. So I have 20. This 5 times 3 will become the negative 15, because it's negative 5 times 3. And then plus 4. On the left side, we have 12 minus 3, which will be 9. And on the right side, we just go in order from left to right when we have both addition and subtraction left. So we'll go first 20 minus 15, which will be 5, and then plus 4, which brings us to 9 equals 9. Because we have the same number on both sides in our check, that tells us our solution is correct. Let's take a look at one more example. This one here, 9 minus, in parentheses, 1 minus 3y, in parentheses, equals 4 plus y minus, parentheses, 3 minus y, end parentheses. The first thing we're going to deal with in this problem is the parentheses. Because we have those subtraction signs in front of the parentheses, this would be the same thing as having tiles in that negative region. And so we first want to flip them up and over. When we're not dealing with tiles, the way we would say this is that we are distributing that negative to all terms within the parentheses. So what happens is over here we have 9, and then this negative sign here will go to the 1, so it becomes negative 1. And then if we were to take this negative 3y and flip it up into the positive region, it would become positive 3y. On the other side, we have our 4 plus y, and then again, a negative sign that we will need to distribute to both the 3, so that will become negative, and then to the y, which will become positive. Okay, now we need to combine our like terms to make the problem a little bit easier to work with. So on the left side, we have two constant terms, the 9 and the negative 1, that we can combine. That will bring us to 8. and then we still have our 3y. On the right side, we have 4 and -3 that we can combine to bring us to 1. And then we also have 2 y's that we can combine. They're both positive, so that will become plus 2y. Now remember, our goal is to get all of the variables on one side and all of our constant terms on the other side. So I would start by subtracting 2y from both sides. Okay, when we do that on the left side, we're going to have 8 plus y, because 3y minus 2y, when we combine that, will give us to just our y. And then our 2y here in the negative and the subtracted 2y, those would form a 0 pair. And so we would just have 1 left on the right side. Now let's move these 8 units there by subtracting 8 from both sides, because whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. So over on the left side, our 8 and -8 will form a 0 pair, and we'd be left with y. And we can combine some like terms. On the right side, 1 and -8 brings us to -7. All right, I'm going to just go directly below here to do our check, which is that final step to make sure that we have the correct solution. So we'll take that original equation, 9 minus, and then parentheses, 1 minus 3. And now instead of the y's, we're going to substitute in -7. So the other side will look like 4 plus -7 minus 3 minus -7. Well, that's a lot of stuff. Oops, I'm missing an end parentheses over here. Okay, so let's start simplifying. So order of operations would tell us to start simplifying inside our parentheses first, that P in PEMDAS. So we'll leave our 9 alone. And then inside this parentheses, we have some multiplication and subtraction. So we'll do the multiplication first. So we'll leave that 1 alone for now, but we're looking at -3 and -7 multiplied together, which will give us positive 21. And then on the other side, we're going to have 4, and I'm going to simplify this plus -7 to just be -7. And then let's simplify inside our parentheses as well. Over here, we have 3 minus -7 becomes +7. All right, now it looks like we can further simplify in our parentheses a little bit. On this side, we have 1 plus 21, which will bring us to 22. And then I'm going to leave the 4 minus 7 for now, but we're going to end up subtracting 3 plus 7, which would be 10. All right, over here, 9 minus 22 brings you to -13. And here we have 4 minus 7, which would be -3, minus another 10 brings you to that -13. So again, because we have the same number on both sides, then we know our solution is correct. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out. And if you have any further questions, please reach out to your teacher.